Unsolved Problem segment tonight. In an interview set to air on the CBS show 48 Hours tomorrow night, JonBenét Ramsey's father, John Ramsey, talked to correspondent Aaron Moriarty about former murder suspect John Mark Carr.
Did you actually see John Mark Carr in some of those that tape where he's saying I was there? What went through your mind when you saw him say?
Well, you know, I after a while, he was so abused and vilified and convicted in the media that I started to feel sorry for the guy, which was a bizarre feeling.
I mean, but this is a man who might have killed your daughter.
I know. Having been through what we went through, you know, I was going to be the last guy that leaped out there and said, aha, this is the guy.
Joining us now from San Francisco, criminal defense attorney Lisa Wayne, who's been following the Ramsey case. Lisa, when I read about this, I can't understand why John Ramsey even did an interview on 48 Hours. Why?
You know, it's difficult to understand, except that he wants the killer to be found. And the only way to do that is keep this image of his murdered daughter alive in our minds and keep doing interviews and not to let this go to the wayside. I mean, he wants the killer to be found, and this is the way to do it. I mean, that's the only thing that I can imagine that he can reconcile going on camera and talking about this.
But Lisa, you know, in this interview, which is, I guess, scheduled to be on tomorrow night, he talks about the last hour, the last minutes of his wife. I mean, how does that get to keeping this? I don't get it.
Right. We know. I don't even want to second guess how John Ramsey feels about the fact that he has a murdered daughter and his wife has passed away, and that here again, you know, John Carr is being brought in, and you know, I think that probably he was being fed information behind the scenes about whether or not this guy was really a suspect, and then to see this guy go through this whole media thing just like he had and his wife had, you know, I get that part with him, and again, Lisa, you know, he sees this being bumbled.
Wait a minute here. How do you feel sorry for this guy? Most Americans are saying this guy led us on a huge charade. He lied to police, and then on top of it, of course, they lost the computers out in California that had him implicated in child pornography. Feel sorry for him. I don't get that emotion. Well, you know what, I think what John Ramsey was saying is not that he feels sorry for this guy and what he has done. I don't see that anywhere in the interview. I think what he was saying is I can relate to the media crucifying someone who's being wrongly accused. All right,
because I've been there.
I got you. We'll stop picking on John Ramsey, but it's too bizarre for me. Now, the interview comes out and reveals that John Mark Carr remains a person of interest. Explain that to us.
Well, I don't know if I can explain it. I can tell you that the characterization that the agent or law enforcement put out there is that he's still a person of interest. That can mean nothing or it can mean something, and I have to tell you, in this particular situation, I don't think it means anything. I mean, he's a person of interest, and they're going to release him from Boulder, from jail. I don't believe that. I think this is a way for them to cover themselves and say, everybody's still a person of interest. We want the public to believe we're still pursuing somebody, something out there, and this isn't closed, because they look bad. I mean, they fumbled this case from the get-go.
Lisa, you know, they're saying, I guess what the little bit that I read about it today was that they think maybe he had knowledge of, you know, maybe what was this whole intruder theory, right? What's your personal view on that, the possibility of an intruder?
I think that's probably what most people are thinking at this point in time, is that intruder theory makes sense based upon the DNA, the fact that they've never been able to actually, you know, show whose DNA that was and have a real suspect. So it had to be somebody from the outside, because Patsy and John have been eliminated, at least in our minds, based upon what we know. So that intruder theory makes sense. Is John Carr, does he have real information about an intruder, or is he working in a conspiracy with somebody else, and the FBI is going to put that out there? Law enforcement is going to tell the public that? I don't think so.
Lisa, has there ever been a case that you've seen in your entire career where things have been bungled from beginning to end, and everybody who's touched this thing looks like an idiot?
Well, you know, it's a high-profile case, and you have everybody out there second-guessing what they should have done. Have I seen a case like this? No, I haven't. You hope that the person's going to be caught. You hope that the person that murdered her is really going to be caught, but with every day that passes, that just seems so unlikely. It seems unlikely.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're betting, don't bet they're ever going to find anybody. They can't seem to get themselves figure out how to walk out the front door without making a mistake. Lisa, thanks for being with us.
I agree.
Folks, plenty more ahead as the Factor moves along this evening.